Hello friends! In this video I wanted to share with you a new to me product that I just recently ordered because when I saw this product I really wanted to try it. So that is the Amazon Basics Dual Tip Brush Pen. I will also be comparing it with the Tombow Dual Brush Pen in this video so that we can kind of see how it matches up to that. I have been on kind of a spending freeze with buying things that I don't really need. I'm trying to just use up what I have and not really test out new products as much. But when my friend Sarah from Ensign Insights told me that Amazon Basics had a brush pen, I really wanted to try it out for myself. Specifically because the reviews were really split. They were either like really bad or really good, but the price was also super low. So I wanted to test them out for you guys for myself to see if they are really worth buying or if we should pass on them. So let's get right into the video. First things first, the package, as you saw, is very basic, which makes sense being an Amazon Basics product. It just came in a cardboard container, which I honestly don't mind at all because I don't usually save my packaging for a majority of my products. So I bought the 9-pack, which was incredibly affordable. I will link it below for you if you want to check it out for yourself. The price last I checked was even lower than when I bought it, so it's a really great deal. I am using the Rhodia paper to test these pens out, so keep that in mind if they look a bit more juicy than what you've experienced if you're using a paper that's not really a specialty type of paper, because that does seem to make it look a little bit different in my experience. So this pen comes with a brush tip and also what they're calling a fiber tip. This is very similar to how like a bullet tip looks, but we will see in this video if they write similarly. I wanted to start off with some basic up and down strokes. I do push pretty hard when it comes to brush lettering, so that's why I do have much thicker down strokes. From first impressions, it doesn't feel quite as crisp as a Tombow Dual Brush Pen on both the brush side and the fiber side. However, it doesn't actually look bad. So when testing out the colors, I got a chance to feel a bit more how they write, and to be honest, they aren't really that bad. I mean, I had no idea what to expect because like I said, the reviews had some really opposing opinions, so it was kind of hard to know what the case would be. I will say that some seem to look to have a bit of fraying to them where you can see individual fibers in some of these strokes, but for the price I do think it could probably be overlooked, especially if you're wanting something just for practice. So let's get into comparing this with the Tombow Dual Brush Pen. The tips are very similar in size. The Tombow does feel a bit bigger at the base of the pen, which maybe makes it feel a bit more sturdy when lettering with it. They're obviously not an exact match, but they are pretty comparable in my opinion with how the brush tip actually looks. The bullet tip doesn't look identical, and when I opened the Amazon Basics one, it was actually sticking out a bit, but once I pushed it back in, I think it was fine. That does happen to some of my more expensive pens as well, so it's usually not a huge deal to me. With the bullet tip or the fiber tip, I did really feel like I noticed a difference in how they wrote. The Amazon Basics one felt a bit softer to me, which really in turn made it feel like it didn't write with as clean of lines. On the other hand, the Tombow bullet tip felt a lot more firm and precise. And I do have a decent amount of experience using the Tombow, so I don't think it's one of those things where it feels nice only a time or two and then it turns softer. The Tombow does feel like a really nice sturdy bullet tip. That being said, I don't buy a Tombow for the bullet tip, and there are other great felt tip pens out there that I love, like the Papermate Flare. So to me, the bullet tip or the fiber tip is just a nice bonus, but not really the reason that I buy the pen or the biggest selling point. So like I mentioned, the Amazon Basics did feel like it was maybe a bit frayed, so I wanted to write a bit more and use it up to see how it would hold up. I know that this is only one page, so it isn't like an exact of how long this pen will last, but sometimes when I use a pen, it almost immediately bends and sticks to the side and doesn't really write well anymore. And I wanted to make sure that that wasn't the case here, because if a pen doesn't work at all because this tip won't flex back, that is a complete waste of money in my opinion. I can deal with some fraying, or I can deal with, colors that I don't love, but if the pen tip sticks to the side, then there's not really a lot of brush lettering that I can do with it. So I spent a bit of time lettering with both the Tombow Dual Brush Pen and also the Amazon Basics brush pen. So as you can see, I do push pretty hard on my pens, and I tried to write similar things with both to give a good representation. So looking at the test overall, the writing honestly doesn't look a ton different. However, they do feel different. And this is my whole point about why I think it matters so much that you have good technique and that you practice, because I think, in my opinion, that's a lot more important than what type of a brush pen you have. Because again, this is a really basic product versus a really nice product. but the end result really does look really similar. So the Tombow does seem to have crisper lines, and the Amazon Basics maybe aren't quite as crisp, but I will let you form your opinions for yourself how much difference you think there is there. So if you have not taken my free 7-day mini course, but you're wanting to learn how to hand letter, make sure to sign up at the link below, or you can go to howtohandletter.com/mini course to get started with that. It is seriously where I put the answers to all of those common beginner questions I get all the time. This is the thing that I made for you guys to answer those questions. So it's totally free. It's just sent to you in your email, and you can get started if you head to the link and sign up for that. So I wanted to show you the pen and how the tip of the Amazon Basics did change a bit with all of that pressure. It's not super obvious, like I said, where some pens totally stay bent to the side, but the one on the right didn't hold up quite as well as the really bouncy Tombow dual brush pen. But again, they don't look that much different on paper, so it really is my opinion that technique and practice matter so much. And yes, there are some brush pens that don't work at all, but overall, I think the key is really learning and practicing. And this is exactly why I created my free 7-day mini course, because I wanted to help you guys get the foundational things down and have some free practice sheets to get you started, because I know that so many people want to know which brush pen to buy to have better lettering. And yes, I do for sure have my favorites and ones that I like more than others. But overall, when it comes to beginner hand lettering, there are just so many other things that I would worry about before worrying about trying all of the brush pens. So when it comes to these brush pens, I think that they could be a really good option if you're just looking for something to practice with, because they are so inexpensive. If you are looking for a really high quality brush pen with those ombre lines and really crisp upstrokes, this probably isn't the pen for you. But I know that at the beginning it can be hard to want to spend a lot of money on a pack of brush pens, especially when you are just ruining your brush pens by doing pages of upstrokes and downstrokes practice, and you're not actually creating like a piece that you might give or share or something. If you're just essentially learning those up and down strokes and how to hold the brush pen and how to, do your pressure with your brush pens, in my opinion, the more inexpensive option is totally fine. I do want to share something that I posted on Instagram when I first posted these in my stories, because I had some people talking about them being like a repackaged Tombow, and that's actually not the case. And so I did want to point that out in case that wasn't clear from like seeing it in the video. So first of all, they're not an exact Tombow dupe. So like many dual brush pens, the reason they're a good option in my opinion is because they are so inexpensive. But they're not exactly the same. The size is similar and they look similar, but the quality does not feel as good as the Tombow. Now we all know that Tombows are great, but we also know that they can fray quickly sometimes, especially when you're a beginner and you are just learning how to hold the brush pen and use it. You can go through pens really quickly when practicing all those up and down strokes. This can be really hard when you're paying a lot of money for a pack of markers. So I talk all the time that it's not about your pen, but your practice and technique. This is one reason why I recommend to some people to use Crayola markers at the beginning. So if you're looking for a high quality brush pen, this is probably not it. But if you're a beginner and are burning through expensive brush pens, this price is really good. So I just wanted to add that as a disclaimer. I'm not saying that this is a Tombow dupe. I'm simply comparing them because they do look pretty similar, and I know that you guys are going to wonder. So I hope that this was helpful for you, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about the Amazon Basics brush pen. Would you try them, or do you think they're a waste of money? Overall, to sum it up, I'd say that they're worth trying if you are looking for a great pen to practice with, and they are really a fraction of the price of more expensive brush pens. So if you're looking for something affordable, they might be a great thing to try. I already ordered my second pack because, like I said, the price dropped even lower than when I first purchased it. So they were a really great deal. So if you are not following me on Instagram, you can follow me over there at How to Hand Letter, because that is where I posted all this to begin with and got a lot of questions and people wondering about these brush pens. So if you want to know things before they come out to YouTube, sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get a full video, head over to Instagram and follow me at How to Hand Letter, and make sure to watch my stories because that's where I put a lot of this real-time stuff. So I am going to leave you with some real-time hand lettering here of me showing both the brush pens on a practice sheet so you can get a really good example of what they write like. Since I'm tracing a practice sheet, I should be writing really similarly. So you can see for yourself what you think and if you can tell the difference for yourself. The practice sheet I'm using is my own printable lettering worksheet called the Simplified Lettering Beginner Bundle, just in case you were wondering. I will link that below for you as well to check out. But I hope this was helpful for you, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your watching my videos and leaving comments. I am so grateful. So thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video.